there's video out now from this big meeting of Putin and Modi and
Xi.
Xi. And on Morning Joe, they were very, very upset because Putin and Modi of India were shown very chummy together and kind of holding hands. And of course, they're not supposed to be doing that because we're trying to punish India with secondary sanctions because Putin is continuing the war in Ukraine. And doesn't seem like he's that fazed by it. They're still very chummy. Here is what Morning Joe had to say about it in SOT Zero.
You literally had Putin and Modi holding hands yesterday. Yeah. Clearly, this meeting a shot at President Trump.
The image of Vladimir Putin holding hands with the leader of India, Narendra Modi, it was a sign that Putin is getting away with it. That if 3 years into this war, he is now claiming this was the West's fault. And has an audience of prominent world leaders who agree with him.
50% tariffs from the United States placed on India, in some ways driving Modi to that photo op where he's holding hands with Putin, and that incredible, extraordinary show of support for Vladimir Putin.
Okay, so this jumped out at me, Ben, because I was actually in the middle of those two men in July of 2017, Putin and Modi. And I got ripped for wearing like a sort of a dress to the thing instead of a suit. But I was literally told it was a state dinner to dress for a state dinner, which I did. In any event, I thought the dress was nice. But I was there. Here, look, this is the video of it. Here's Putin and Modi. And we are in St. Petersburg together, meeting at the castle where Putin and I were together. And we
nice dress.
Thank you. We had sort of a state dinner thereafter. Right after this, the three of us sat down at a table that was like barely enough to hold 3 teacups and had tea together, the three of us. And they are and were and have been extremely chummy for many, many, many years. So that's what jumped out at me. Like, they've always been like this. They actually do have a lot of strategic alignment. And I don't know how, I don't think even Trump thought that he was going to end the relationship between the men by imposing secondary sanctions.
They're also aiming at the wrong thing there. The actual geopolitical change is Modi and Xi. It's not Modi and Putin.
Right.
As you say, Modi and Putin
around for a long time.
Yes, I mean also India during the entirety of the Cold War was non-aligned, but actually aligned pretty closely with the Soviet Union. And it took until the mid 2000s for the United States to start really warming up the relationship with India to the point where they're now considered a military strategic partner as part of the so-called Quad. That'd be like the United States, Japan, Australia, and India. And the idea there, and this is under Trump 1, was to create essentially a ring of fire around China. Because if you look at the map, obviously the Indo-Pacific is dominated by China, but not if you have India in kind of one corner and then Australia down in the south and Japan up kind of ringing them. And so the idea was that we were going to sort of box China in. So I'm more concerned about India realigning vis-a-vis China because they have a bad relationship historically. Right? They've almost gone to war several times. Him being aligned with Putin is nothing new. I mean, he's getting enormous amounts of oil from Vladimir Putin. Something like 47% of all Russian oil exports go to the Chinese and 38% go to the Indians. And that means that since 2022, the Indians have probably saved something like $17 billion on their oil costs because of the amount of oil that they've been taking in from the Russians. And so the idea that, the Indians were going to turn away from Russia full scale because of the sanctions, I'm not sure if that's what Trump was going for. I think that was not going to happen. But I'm not going to say that the realignment here is not a problem. I do think it is a problem. This particular event was Turkey, Iran, North Korea, I believe, was there.
Yep.
It was China. It was India. And it was Russia. And that sort of anti-American coalition that territorially now stretches all the way from China all the way in the east to theoretically Turkey in the west, that is a very large land bridge. I mean, that is a serious geopolitical issue. And so I think that, again, the idea that we were going to break the relationship between Russia and India is foolish. And you're right. Modi and Putin have been friendly for a very long time. I will say that I think the tariff war does have some unforeseen consequences. And I think one of those consequences is that instead of boxing China in with all these other countries, if you slap Japan with a tariff, and you slap India with a tariff, and you slap South Korea with a tariff, and then you slap China with a lower tariff than India, then you could theoretically be making moves that push India in the direction of a realignment. And that has some significant impact. I mean, monetarily it does. You've seen that the dollar has been dropping as the global reserve currency. The spot price of gold today is at like the highest it's been ever. And so, there's downstream effect to some of these decisions being made.
Do you think it's all about the tariffs?
I don't think it's all about the tariffs. I do think it is largely about the tariffs. I think that we've offered a lot of carrots and a lot of sticks and not enough carrots to places like India. The truth is that the trade relationship that we have with India is not wildly important to the United States. They represent, I think, our 10th largest trading partner. They do have access to some rare earth minerals. And I think one of the goals, theoretically, should have been to, if we were going to do cheap goods at all from other parts of the world, to realign that from China to India and make more of an ally of India, specifically because they're geopolitically between Pakistan here and China here. And so what you want to do is make, by the way, we hold more military exercises with India than we do with NATO.
I was going to say, and they're not, creating mass amounts of ships to potentially take us down.
Right.
We're a lot friendlier with them.
But if you start to see them actually realign with China, if you start to see them move into the Chinese camp, then that really does upend the geopolitical order. And so, again, I'm not a Peter Navarro guy. And I think that Peter Navarro's trade policy, if you do the opposite of that, typically you're going to do well.
So when you look at Putin, you look at Modi, you look at Xi, are they all lions?
I think that the idea of the lion in the book is somebody who
Lions and Scavenger.
In Lions and Scavengers is somebody who is trying to build as opposed to tear down. So I would say no. I think that all three of those people, well, two of those three, I think are attempting to tear down. I'm not sure about Modi. I think Modi may be more in the lion category, and I think him sort of forging a middle path and trying to move as an independent in the world, which has been traditional Indian policy. You could see him as a lion more than a scavenger. I think Xi is definitely a scavenger. Communism is a scavenger philosophy. And I think Putin is a scavenger, too. I think that Putin is essentially attempting to savage various countries and institutions.
What is he building?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, it's a gas station with nuclear weapons.
That's right.
And so, I've never seen Vladimir Putin. I think very early in his career, there was the possibility he could be. If you remember back to 99, 2000, when he first took over, he lowered the tax rates like 12%. People thought he was going to realign with the West. It didn't work out that way, obviously.
When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, you'd be right. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own a physical gold. And so they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit right now. Just text MK to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.